Todd here in my home state of Colorado, and what I want to talk to you about today is growing up and being a man. Now, there's a few particular things that I see over and over again with guys who learn game, particularly young guys, but this can even happen in middle-aged guys or older guys as well. And it's that they kind of get their game together, they get the ideas in place, they say all the right things, but there's just this inherent boyishness about them. They just aren't mature in what they're doing. And they can kind of do well as long as things are going according to the program, but when things derail their plans, they tend to fall apart. For example, these type of guys, they might do really well with girls, but occasionally when they get shit tested, they just completely fall apart. Or they'll have really good interactions, but when it comes time to lead or to close, they don't seem to have that, the girl doesn't seem to follow them. The girl seems to really enjoy them. The girl seems to have a good time, tell them how cute they are, but the girl doesn't come home with them at the end of the night. Or a really big one is when you deal with like AMOG situations, when you deal with other guys coming into your sets. You'll see these type of guys, as soon as some other guy comes, they just like turn their tail and run away as though they're like sort of ashamed, or as though it's like, oh, daddy's here now, I should leave before I get in trouble. And what you have to realize here is that when you're growing up, it's very easy to be the child. It's very easy to follow some level of authority, and that probably actually helps us out because at first we don't know shit about life. But at a certain point, you have to look around and be like, I am the adult. I am the adult. There is no sort of like overarching authority that's going to tell me right and wrong and tell me how to live my life anymore. I need to be that authority in my own life. And once you've made that decision, a lot of things are going to fundamentally change in your game, both in your decision making, but also in just the immediate perception girls have of you. Somehow they can sort of just tell how sure you are of yourself and how strongly you believe that you are an adult man. So this whole phenomenon got me to thinking, and I realized there are really 3 stages to maturing and becoming an adult. And in order to illustrate this, I want to talk to you a bit about my experience with women. What I've noticed is a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, girls who are in their late teens are actually living very exemplary lives. They're eating well, maybe playing a sport, doing well in school, working hard, that sort of thing. But they're working well and doing those things because their parents have told them to, because they're under some sort of like higher discipline. And so they're doing these things, but they're not doing them because they're thinking for themselves. And then for a lot of girls, when they go off to college or start going clubbing, their lives kind of come apart. So you see these girls in like their early 20s, like 21 to 24 a lot of times is a good time for this, where their lives are just disasters. Maybe they're doing a lot of drugs, they get out of shape, overweight, they're bouncing around from career to career, dating the wrong kind of guys, that kind of stuff. And they just don't have it together. And what's happened here, it's actually a positive progression in a way, but also a very negative one, which is they've defied authority. They realize at some point, you aren't the boss of me anymore, kind of, right? They realize they don't have to listen to anybody, they're out on their own, and they can have some freedom. And they enjoy the pleasures of the freedom, but without the inherent responsibility. So what's happening is they're now making their own rules, but their rules are shitty compared to the rules they were blindly following before. So even though they're sort of more developed as a person in the sense that they are making their own decisions, their actual life has become significantly worse. And then what you'll notice with girls a lot of times is when they get to like their late 20s, early 30s, now there is a maturity about them. They've got their life handled, they've done their clubbing thing, they maybe have their careers in order, that sort of thing, and they're able to like lead and make their own decisions and make good decisions and get back in shape, that kind of stuff. I would suggest it's the same for anyone. It's the same for a guy as well as a girl, which is we go through these 3 stages. One is this stage of, I'm a little boy, I'm gonna follow authority, my parents, my teacher, my principal are right. And that gets us a certain distance, right? We need to learn certain lessons in life. If you came into life and wanted to figure everything out by yourself from like the age of 2, it would take you pretty much forever, right? But we take that guidance of parents, teachers, take the lessons that are helpful to us and move forward. At some point, we need to say, fuck this, I'm not following the rules. And this is a big journey for a lot of guys in pickup, realizing that it's okay to be a little impolite, it's okay to interrupt someone's conversation, it's okay to speak up for yourself and not just be the little rule follower all the time. And that's why a lot of guys never even do a cold approach, is they never get out of that stage. They just stay the little boy and they stay like, society is my parent, society is the authority, and I can't offend, I can't step out, I can't, be loud, I can't be heard, I can't stand tall. And so they never step up. A lot of guys in pickup do get to that stepping up stage, but they kind of do it in that immature way, right? they'll do a lot of obnoxious sorts of things on the open. A lot of guys, when they get into pickup, start to ruin other things in their life. Like a lot of guys during college years, they'll sort of ruin their grades, or they go out too much, they start drinking and partying too much, that sort of stuff. So they start to make irresponsible bad decisions, or bad dietary decisions, those kind of things. People get stopped at all these different stages. Some people never get out of that little boy mentality. Some people never get out of the irresponsible mentality. Those are the guys that you look at them and they're like, like the 50-year-old bartender guy, where like he really could have done more with his life, kind of, right? And then you get to the people that really get their whole life together. And what I want to encourage you to do is two things. Number one, if you're still in that little boy stage, if you're still following instructions, if you still think that there is an authority that's going to guide your life, stop right now, okay? Understand that you are the ultimate authority. You're the ultimate decision maker. Now, you do want to learn from mentors. Without mentors, you will not learn as much as fast, and you'll be really held back in your life, right? So understand that there are mentors, but the final decision has to be yours. The final decision, the final judgment is yours. You need to think for yourself. If you're not at that stage, that's the next stage for you. But those of you who are thinking for yourself, and a lot of people watching this video will be on that stage, you're thinking for yourself, you're exploring new ideas, you're exploring pickup in particular, I want to encourage you, don't just rebel for the sake of rebelling. Don't just do obnoxious things because you think you can get away with them, because a lot of times you can, but it's still not helpful to you. What I want to encourage you to do is think for yourself and make your own decisions, but make the right decisions. Just because society said something and you realize that society is not an authority, does not mean that every single thing society said is wrong. A lot of the rules of society do make sense, and were there for a reason. A lot of the things your parents taught you were there for a reason. So don't blindly reject them, just think them through and see if they actually make sense. If they make sense, keep doing them by all means, or even do them more so, right? Only reject the things that don't make sense. Don't reject blindly, because what I would like to see for all of you is I want to see you, number one, get out of that little boy stage. I want to see you be a strong, firm man that women will see in that way, and that you will see yourself in that way, more importantly. But also, I'd like to save you the pain and frustration of that in-between stage. I know I went through it. I went through a period where I was wasting a lot of time and I wasn't getting a lot done. And if I could have gone back and had those, those few years and done them better, I would really have appreciated that in my own life. So I want to do that for you. I want you to go straight from the little boy stage all the way to the man stage without too much of life damage in between, okay? So understand that it's not just the I can stand on my own stage, there's I have to stand on my own the right way. Think for myself, but don't automatically reject what other people are telling you. A lot of what other people tell you is also true, all right? So I want you to step up, be a man, but do it the right way. Thanks, take care.